Hello, my name is Lindsay Gray. I'm from Aamjiwnaang and I am Bear Clan. And so, welcome to Aamjiwnaang. So we're going to take you on a tour through the industrial park as well as our community and talk about the history, how it got here, and some stories about us living here. Chemical Valley makes up about 40% of Canada's petrochemical industry. So what that looks like is 60 plus facilities in the 25-kilometer radius of Aamjiwnaang, but the highest emitting, 60% of them, are in the 5-kilometer radius. That's a lot to have for a very tiny community. Residents that live here, there's only 850.
My name is Vanessa. I'm Lindsay's older sister. And we've been giving toxic tours for about 5 years now. And this is the first stop on every tour that we've ever done, because this is actually from here to where the reserve sits right now is the original reserve that Canada has given our community. So from here to where we just drove from was originally ours. This is how much land they originally gave us, which is nothing compared to our original traditional territory, which is the Great Lakes here. Industry obviously uses it for transportation of product now because most pipelines in North America lead to Sarnia, Aamjiwnaang area. Industry is moving in the direction of Canada's precious tar sands. And so the byproduct called bitumen from the oil sands comes here. And in the last couple of years, they have been working on building a new refinery to process more tar sands product.
They run 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. If they aren't running, they're in danger to us. And so whenever the big blackout happens, we were in danger. And so they tried to get our power on as quickly as possible because without that, they can't tell what's going on in their refineries. We had something that's called the Sarnia nose. And so us being always exposed to these chemicals, we don't necessarily smell them all the time anymore. They could grow an empire here. They could put pipelines, they could steal lands to be able to grow their infrastructures, and they have the river there for heating and cooling, so they use the river a lot in their processes. Some of these equipment that they have in here, the really old rusty ones, are from 1880 when they came here. So that's over 100 years they've been using these infrastructures and not updating them, not putting in new ones. They're just the same ones. So that's a huge safety concern that the community is trying to put out. Even people who are for the refineries to say, update your equipment, because when they don't update it, they spill a lot more often. Last week, their tailings ponds leaked into our river. So they spilled. So what happened here was there's a decommissioned pipeline from Dow, and what we know with refineries is when they close down, they don't really have a lot of responsibility to the place where they close down. And so their decommissioned pipeline, meaning it's shut off and it's not flowing anymore, it started leaking benzene into the ground. And so it did it for about like 10 years. And then they had to like use 10 years to plan in order to clean it up, because there's 86 pipelines there. They can't just stick a shovel in the ground and expect to clean it up. And so right now they're still trying to clean it up. And what they found out with benzene, which is kind of weird because they use us like guinea pigs. So they found out with benzene that when it leaks into the ground, it spreads. Like, so over those 10 years of them trying to figure out how to clean it up, it started spreading close to the community.
Over the last couple years, they've been working to use a old pipeline called Line 9 to transport the tar sands bitumen, even though the pipeline is 40 years old, even though the pipeline wasn't built for that kind of oil. This is the company that used their old pipeline and cut, you know, the possibility of a environmental assessment for this change in their old infrastructure. They also reversed the flow, the direction of the flow of the oil. So the oil is now flowing from the terminal that we just passed all the way to Montreal. Enbridge didn't even bother to look for any consultation with all 18 First Nations communities this pipeline goes through.
Our graveyard is in the center of their refinery. They built around our graveyard up here. And so what they did was they put cameras located into our graveyard.